welcome to our Wave 2 update video. Hello Amy, how are you?
Hello Megan P. Walker, I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's been about, what, maybe 6 months?
Yes, we meet again.
Yes, we meet again. So what we're going to do is similar to last time. We are basically going to cover everything that is in the Wave 2 release notes for customer insights journeys only. There's tons of other content about all of the other areas, so I'm sure you can find stuff on it, but we're focused on journeys, right?
Do something, do it really well.
No, exactly. I subscribe to that. Absolutely. So we've got some slides we're going to go through. We'll cover every single item. We'll share our thoughts, which might be controversial. I don't know on some of them. We'll see. But we will share our thoughts on what we think some of them might be, and then others we definitely know what they are, so we will share our ideas. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so Wave 2 2024. So a couple of things about it. This will be the functionality that is planned to be released from October 2024 through to March 2025.
Keyword planned.
Exactly. We'll cover a lot of that, won't we? In terms of what's planned and what was planned and is no longer planned. So as with all of the release notes, they kind of give these fanciful names to the sort of sections or the areas they cover. So this time we've got Copilot and AI innovation, moments that matter, and unifying sales and marketing. All right, you want to go first?
Let's go.
Okay, so
I always get the urge to go in one. It's a very British
what, like
reference
the Gallup Top 40 or something?
No, isn't it from Bullseye? It's like a really old. It was a UK TV show where they played darts. I don't even know why I know. I wasn't even born.
Well, I referenced the Gallup Top 40, which is probably no longer a thing, and you referenced Bullseye, so yeah. Anyway, you're up.
Welcome
Go for
to
it.
Lost References, number 1. Create brand consistent emails with templates and Copilot. Okay. So this is usually where you get Copilot to try and do something for you. It stabs around a bit, helps you out a bit, and then you finish it off. I did have a tinker with this because it's in one of my, I saw it bumping around in a preview tenant a while ago. It's pretty good at getting you started if you're just trying to churn out marketing spiel. Is it the kind of thing I'd want to be sending out as a really high quality marketer? Probably not. But it's got some legs, and if you're staring at a blank template, maybe it gives you a good start. I think I used it for a demo, just easier. But yes, I think it's kind of like you tell it the kind of things you like. It's also taking in brand templates now, which is nice. So in theory, uploading a document where you've got your brand guidelines and saying, go do something fancy with that. So let's have a see if that's good. It's got potential. It's the kind of stuff that's boring to do. So it's quite nice to get a head start with it. If someone could help me out, it's quite nice. So
how does it, because I've not seen, there are some other things that I have seen in another client's environment that has early access to a couple of things, but I've not seen this. So in terms of where it matches your layout preferences, is it that natural language where you're supposed to be able to type and say?
It's supposed to be able to, like, you upload like a brand template and it goes through it and goes like, oh, like your header width is this and your blah 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 is this, and it's got to like spit out something based on your brand template. And obviously it depends on if it understands it, like, does it make sense?
You'd have to be very specific, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And you'd have to I don't know about you, but from my experience, a lot of time people that I'm working with aren't either familiar with or comfortable with HTML or CSS, or even understanding things like, widths and sort of the importance of stuff like that. So I would be curious to see how useful that will end up being for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So thumbs up-ish from you?
A mild thumb.
Okay, a mild
thumb, whatever a mild thumb is.
So again, on with the Copilot. So this is obviously the Copilot and AI area. And my feeling on Copilot is I think we have similar feelings. I think it's amazing in some areas of the Power Platform, and from my experience with clients, it's been more of an annoyance than an actual help. So I'll be curious to see how well this helps, because we've got creating segments using Copilot. We've got the ability to create journeys using Copilot already, but I guess maybe this is just going to expand on it. I'm not sure, because there is already that pop-up that shows. And the problem I have with this is that using natural language, you've got people that English isn't their first language anyway, and B, even using natural language is, I can't just say I'd like a really great journey that has blah blah. Like, I have to think in terms of AI, of a bot that has been programmed to do something. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's already in there in terms of the ability to create journeys using Copilot. So this has, I guess this is just saying it's GA, so it's the thing that we've already got.
It'll be anything like probably some add-on stuff. I mean, I've not fiddled with what's there, but maybe they're adding some features and then obviously making it signed and sealed with a GA stamp. But
do you use it? Like, do you have clients that use it?
I use the skip button in the bottom right.
I do as well. I do as well. The other thing, unfortunately, sorry, Microsoft, and the team that work on the product are fantastic, and we have good relationships with them. So this is no reflection, but from my perspective, a lot of clients are just like, how can we turn Copilot off?
Yeah.
And at the minute, you can change those feature switches that relate to Copilot, and then the stuff will disappear. But I always wonder, how long will that be possible for? And are they just going to say, well, sod it, you've got to have that switched on?
Yeah.
I don't know. We shall see. All right.
Next.
Onwards. Your turn.
Yay. Okay. Next up, we have tailor Copilot to your business with custom tables and fields. Well, comma fields. I'm going to say it was comma and. So I like the premise of this. Again, it's kind of nice idea. Nice in theory. It's kind of it's expanding the world of Copilot beyond contacts and accounts and opportunities and leads, which is always a big limitation. So I like the idea of this, that yes, pretty much every Dynamics customer I work with has custom tables, which are important to their business. So this is interesting. It's got potential. I think it's going to take a long time to come good. Could be handy.
Yeah, I agree. I came across something interesting yesterday or the day before, and working with a client, and this isn't the first time I have seen this, but the first time where it's a marketing customer where they've renamed the lead table. So in some areas, so they've called it inquiry. In some areas, it actually shows the word inquiry, and then in all these other places, it still has the word lead. So things like that, I'm curious in terms of how Copilot is going to understand it, because obviously the underlying table is still called lead, but any user is going to be like, oh, it's the inquiry. So so it'll be interesting to see how it handles the custom stuff for sure.
Also, just as a note, they put in the details, custom entities. Oh, blast from the past.
Oh my god, yeah, but they've also got fields and not columns. So
that is shocking.
I know, They don't know what they want to call stuff. Anyway, moving on. All right, next. So just a couple of things you might have noticed. We've got a nice little new sign at the bottom. It will be relevant shortly, but these are brand new features that we have not seen before. So this is one that I have actually seen. I don't know if you've seen this, but I've got a client that has access to this. Take campaigns from concept to launch using Copilot. So this is an interesting one. So it basically gives you an area where you can sort of make, I guess, a project, for lack of a better term.
It's called project.
It is called project, isn't it? And it says campaigns, but they couldn't
call it campaign though, could they? Because of the legacy table, so they had to come up with a new name.
But they've still got take campaigns. So anyway, bit confusing. But it's basically giving you like one area where you can sort of look at different assets for a specific campaign or something that you're trying to deliver. So let's say you've got a new product launch or a new service that's coming out, or you are going to do a campaign that's all about an event that's coming up. So therefore you've got assets that are related to that. You're going to have emails that are related to that. You're going to have segments. So it's basically a way to bring everything together in one place and manage it. When I saw it, it was probably like a couple of months ago. So I don't know how much it might have changed since then, if at all. But yeah, jury's out for me. I don't know what you're.
I'm excited to get into the guts of it to see kind of how it ties to stuff. Like, does it attribute back to the lead?
Exactly. Yeah.
Does it put like things like events can be part of campaigns? Like, I reckon it's going to be quite limited. I think this one's actually only half new because it sneaked into the release wave halfway, the last release wave halfway through. Because I had customers asking me about it. I was like, I've got no freaking idea. And then they like sneaked it in.
But it's not in all. I don't know if it's not in all regions yet or not in all environments.
No, it's hardly anywhere. It's like only US preview or something.
Yeah.
But they keep putting out on splashy videos everywhere. So customers keep coming to me like, hey, want this? And I'm like, yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it is US because that's the client that I've got. Then it would be a US environment. So yeah, so we'll see. I think it's got potential. So we'll go with that. And I didn't look for a half new icon. So maybe next time. All right, you're up.
Alrighty. Oh, this is it's a one, but not one as in number
it's
one.
Repeated
it's because we've seen it before.
In wave one. Well, actually, did we see this even? No, we saw this in wave one, I think.
Yeah. So I'm still excited about this. I'm frustrated, excited now rather than super excited. So this is custom URLs on, Vanity URLs. So on your landing pages and on your assets. So rather than having that assets dash OCE or whatever you get to have something like your company or company name.marketing, and be able to make things look a bit more like they belong to you. We spoke about this last time. It's definitely something that should be there. It will help with email deliverability, customer trust, confidence. Yes, please, now. Thanks.
Absolutely. And you know, like one of the things that if you look at the last bullet point, preference center, that's going to be huge because when somebody clicks on that to unsubscribe or update preferences and they just see that assets, blah, 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 then I mean, you can tell, obviously, you've clicked on it. It's an email from the company, but how much nicer to see preferences.meganvwalker.com. Like, much nicer, much nicer. So, yes, please don't let it slip anymore.
No more. Oh, that's only PP as well, man.
I know. PP.
Private PP is private preview, by the way. No wee-wees.
PP is public.
Oh, yeah, public, sorry.
Yeah.
Wee-wees are private.
Moving on, here's another one that is a recycle or regurgitation, whatever word you want to say. This is basically from wave one. Might even have been from wave two last year. It feels like this has been hanging around for a while. So this is build and test journeys before deploying to production. So you can basically test journeys, like, so if you're setting up a customer journey, move those journeys seamlessly into a production using a solution. So I don't know, this one feels like it would have been relatively straightforward, but interesting that it's going straight to GA. So hopefully it's been really well tested internally.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. Like, it feels a bit odd. I don't know, like, a lot of this you can do now, I just do it as data transporter and stuff. So I know it's easier because now you're making it a component and a solution. But then I wonder,
and not everyone's comfortable with moving and using other tools, right? Whereas they might, I mean, if you think about like when you first found out about something like SRM Toolbox, you were like, why the hell didn't somebody tell me about this? But you've like been oblivious to other tools. And at that point, then you know, oh my God, I can do all these other things. So this is, someone doesn't have to rely on knowing about or being comfortable with using another tool. When they're a consultant, they can put stuff in a solution, and that's a common practice that they're used to, right?
My brain panics a bit, like, well, so if you deploy this in a managed solution, does that then mean I can't delete old stuff?
Or does it also, like, what does that do to the journey and anything in the journey? I would hope that once you've moved it, even if it's managed, then that's it. It's then has the same functionality in terms of I can edit, I can adjust the journey.
Yeah, and then, can I still edit the journey directly in production, or is it now stuck in a release cycle? I have so many questions that no one can answer, but I'm so concerned.
But you can turn off a trigger that's been moved, and you could make changes to it. So if you had a trigger in a solution and you moved it from one environment to another, then you could turn that off and make changes to it. Even
but
though
then, are you creating an unmanaged layer then?
I don't know.
Because that's not okay.
No, there are so many questions. You're right.
I'm just gonna sit and worry about it. It's all right. Yeah. I'll just worry in the corner. I'll get back to you.
Do it in the next hour or so after this.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll schedule it in.
Now it's you again.
Okay, we have another reincarnation. I want this one as well. I just want them. I want this. So this is adding forms onto real-time marketing forms, fields onto real-time marketing forms, but capture data that isn't mapped to a contact or a lead. I know you can currently do it with HTML, and it works reasonably nicely. Like, it's not too difficult. But like, if you create the field, then you click on it, the side panel designer just spins like, oh. It's a jarring experience for someone who isn't comfortable with HTML.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something that a lot of customers are asking for, and I keep teasing them with it's coming, I promise, it's soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, public preview October. Yeah, might be there by next year, properly.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? Because it's like going back through the stuff that we talked about in January, was it? I think when we did Wave 1 video, and I've got all of the links on the post that I put where I embedded our video and stuff, and you can click on them and you can go through, and then they just go to a dead link, so they're gone, and that's the frustrating thing. Or I can also look back at the old video and see the dates that we said, oh, this is when Microsoft are announcing that this is available, and those dates keep shifting as well. So it is frustrating because customers get excited, or there's something that they're waiting for, and it then has a knock-on effect on internal projects or things that they're trying to do. So please let this come out soon, Microsoft, please. Yeah, we'll see.
They use the word polluting again, though, which makes me laugh. Polluting data.
Oh, polluting. A new one, an actual new one. Enable customers to find and sign up for events easily. I find that an interesting term because I don't think it's necessarily difficult to sign up for events right now, but anyway. But this looks like it's essentially, it's reading between the lines. So we have Power Pages, and we've got templates for those. My guess is it's just basically going to be a template that I can pick from as a starting point. That's my...
Yeah, so it's making that move.
Guess.
It's making the move as an alternative to the legacy outbound marketing portal. It's not got nasty, what's it called? I don't want to say the word. Angular. Evil Angular is gone. It's going to be proper Power Pages template. They're probably still going to be pretty complicated, let's be honest. It's still not going to be pick up and make to look exactly how you want, but hopefully then reasonably well behaved. But yeah, it's basically working towards getting rid of that legacy, not legacy yet officially, the old school outbound marketing portal. So I'm looking forward to this.
Come now. It doesn't so I would say legacy is probably accurate, because if you install marketing now, it doesn't give you an option anymore, does it?
You can, technically. It's quite a process, and it's not heavily encouraged.
But it's not like it was originally, where it's like, where do you want to store? It was very in your face, and so many people were like, oh yes, of course I want a portal, and then I'm like, no, why?
Yeah, you've got to find like a secret email and wait 7 weeks and click your toes, and they're just really discouraging. Fair enough. We got to move on. So this will be really good. I think again, it's going to be a long process to get it nice.
I don't think
But
it will
it's
though, because you've got, if you think about Angular, I think out of all the people we know, we might know one person that knows how to do it, right? We know who we're thinking about. But if we think about Power Pages and the ability to edit that and make that look pretty, we know infinite people, right?
yeah.
So I think the ability is there. More people will be able to work on that for a customer and actually make it look pretty. Excuse me. I will also say that you can currently use Power Pages portal to make an event looking portal, but you have to use Liquid. So this is basically where it's already kind of delivered for you, and all of the components would be in these templates, I would imagine. So
I hope so.
yeah, I hope so too. I saw something not that long ago where there's a new component that's been added for portals, that is what did they call it? Where it's basically got like blocks, so sort of columns and rows.
Okay.
I can't
Like
remember
a
what they called
layout?
it. So that sounds, it was a new layout, but it was very specific, and the example they used was events. So when I
Okay,
saw that, I was
yeah.
like, oh, okay, they're getting it ready. So, all right. Next. I think it's you. I cannot remember who started on that last one.
I'll take it.
You take it.
Okay. Yay, another one that I just won. Okay. So form prefills. So this is if you know who I am and I've got cookies in my browser and I filled in all your forms and I'm your biggest fan. Don't make me type my name and email again because I just want to be your biggest fan. So pre-filling on forms. I like that they're pulling it for events as well because that was never really a thing with the old portal. So I'm glad to see pre-fill is now for event sign-up forms as well. It was available in Outbound, and it's a long time coming. I'm curious about the logistics of how they're allowing people to opt in and out of this, because the old way was never that great, in my opinion, to allow tracking.
Allow pre-fill. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious on how all this is managed. But that's me getting too deep in the details. Ooh, Intel.
I'm pretty sure this wouldn't be NDA. But in terms of the cookie stuff, so the Outbound, it was based on cookies. This apparently will not be. It will be based on passing through form context from. So if I get the email and I click on a link, it'll pass through stuff.
Okay.
I guess, and I think cookies will still potentially play a role. So let's say, for example, you fill out a form and then you come back to my website 5 days later, i.e. you haven't clicked on a link, so I can't pass any context through, then I think cookies might be looked at that point. But I would imagine if you think about like all the sort of news and information about Google making changes to cookies and all of that sort of stuff, they probably couldn't just rely on cookies.
Right, so it's got to be from an email, basically.
Well, I think cookies will still play a role, but if you're doing it from an email, therefore someone's clicking a link,
the guarantee.
Then the context can be passed through as to who that person is, so therefore it can populate the form. So we'll see, but yeah, this one's pretty huge. So cool.
We sound excited, don't we? It's pretty big, yeah.
Let's just hope we get it.
We feel like we've been burned like naughty puppies, like, oh, please, oh, please. Oh.
Okay, now this one, this is another huge one. And this is also we have this in Outbound. Please, for the love of God, don't make real-time feel inferior, which is when you say, oh yeah, sorry, there's no heat map, there's no this, there's no that.
Yeah.
So this one, absolutely massive. Now, I think I said this to you in the screenshot on the release notes on the actual documentation page. This one has an image of what it's supposed to look like. For me, as somebody that has used Microsoft Clarity for a long time, it looks so similar in the way that it's laid out to Microsoft Clarity, which if it is, that's fantastic, because then it means they haven't just gone off and completely recreated something. They've used an existing Microsoft product, but maybe that's just my fanciful idea.
I've
But
not
yeah,
seen
so
clarity enough, but I like that this is coming back. Like it doesn't have a massive impact, I don't think, but I find that users and marketers really like it. Users love it. I don't think it's life-changing in terms of functionality, but it's kind of like it's very popular.
I think it depends on the level of the marketer, and anyone who's watching, please don't don't take offense. But I think there are some marketers that are creating an email, sending it out, moving on to the next, creating an email. And in marketing, you really should be, let's try something, let's analyze the results, and let's tweak it and do it again,
Yeah.
but with some slight changes. This, for those type of people, is going to be
Yeah,
massive. And there are definitely people that work in marketing that are doing it that way.
Yeah.
But to just send out the same things and not even look at the results of it is like mind-boggling to me. Like, why are you're just going through the motions of sending out an email, job done. So yeah, this is pretty big, and it looks really cool on the picture.
It's
as well.
visual. It's easier to look at the numbers of clicks and percentages because my head spins when I see those numbers on their own. I'm like, so what? Whereas then you start to see pictures, and yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. All right.
Next, please.
Go for it.
Personalized customer messages based on web interactions. Welcome to the release wave 1. Oh, wait, no, it's 2. Yes, this is much needed. You shove a bit of script into your website, and we can now track people when they go through the website. So this is, again, a blast from Outbound, which was much loved. So if someone lands on the website, it could be from Google. They could land as anonymous, but then if they fill out a form, they then become known, and we get all the history of where they started from, and then when they come back again and again and again. So this is really nice and really boosts the use of lead scoring, because this is a big hole in the lead scoring right
100%,
now.
100%.
Yeah, where have you been all my life? Get on my life now.
I know. This is the biggest thing with lead scoring, I think, is if you are trying to do a genuine drip feed marketing campaign for a specific product or for a specific service, you want it to be for people that have actually gone to the website and viewed those pages.
And also tracking the effectiveness of your pages. Like, do people come back to the page, or do they click on it once and go, that's rubbish? I've seen that used in the past where actually we've used that to realize that actually like a link was broken and stuff like that. Like, it's really handy.
I mean, this was January. Sorry, we talked about it in January, but I'm pretty sure this was like very early on in the first half of 2024 that it was supposed to be released. And this is one that I literally saw the date just change and change and change. And it's been frustrating to quite a few customers. So,
but do you know who we can blame for this?
No.
Google for introducing one-click unsubscribe.
Oh, you think it's their fault?
Yeah, I'm going to blame them, and also double opt-in. I think they are the reason that loads of stuff got pushed out. Because the world keeps changing.
Priority. Yes. Yeah.
I'm blaming
maybe
Google.
If we didn't have as much Copilot, we could have had it.
Oh yeah, there is it. Yep.
Yeah. It's all right.
And that.
Use segments to decide which path a customer should take. So I looked at this one, and this might be one of those things where you can enlighten me. I thought you could currently do this.
I read this and went through the same process. I think I'll work it out there. So, currently you can only use segments for branching, whereas this is where you're using segments more like a trigger. So in branching, you hit the branch straight away, it evaluates, you carry on with your life. Whereas a trigger, you can say, wait here for up to 5 days. As soon as it's a positive, it goes ahead, but it will keep checking for those 5 days. So we can use the segment in a trigger style way that it says, wait here and keep checking. Like, keep checking the segment. As soon as it happens, let's go. And if not, then do something. Whereas currently it's branching, and you'd have to loop or keep checking, like check, wait, check, wait, check, wait. So it's kind of like, I would label it as use segments as a trigger is kind of what it's doing.
Thank you. Because I literally was like, okay, and what? We can do that right now. So I knew that you'd have a different take on it, so that's good. Okay, so then that is cool. But I agree. I think that the title is not misleading, but not really giving the true story of what it actually is. So that's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then you're up again.
Sorry, I feel like I've talked a lot on this one. I'm so over
No.
lead scoring. Lead scoring, the gift of lead scoring. I'm still a bit troubled with lead scoring. It's you probably know, you can probably talk about this better than me. So you know what? Take the mic.
So I've done a lot on lead scoring, and one of the things that I don't know if pride myself, because that makes me sound like a bit of an arse, but I always try and only blog about things that I feel I can put a positive spin on.
Yeah.
I have not blogged about lead scoring yet. I'm very close to being able to feel like I can say, hey, start using this, it's great. But when it was first rolled out, this is one of those things where it was rolled out and went straight to GA. And then it was like, oh my God, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. It kept turning itself off. So you'd have a model that you'd build, and then you'd publish it, and then it would, that same night, it would be turned off again.
Security issues as well, right?
All kinds of wonderful things. Now, this is, there are a couple of really good things with this. So when it went live with, so if you think about a segment, when you build a segment, you have the groups and you put stuff into groups. Same thing with the lead scoring. You basically, each type of logic that you're checking to assign a score is in a group, and the limit was 13. So
ooh, horrible number.
I know, horrible. So apparently now it's increased, and it's live on the documentation. It's not NDA. It's just not in the release notes for this. But where it says increase the number of groups, that's already happened, and it's up to 40 or 41 right now, which is a lot more of a realistic number. And I appreciate they've got to have a limit, but how about like 100 or something? But anyway, the other thing is you also have this qualifying criteria that ties in with it, where currently it was a very it was somebody hits 100 points in this or this, and then you can like change the lead the sales ready, you can change certain flags. I'm reserving judgment. What I hope is that the stuff about the lead qualification criteria is I could do a combined, if they get 100 points combined with these two things, as opposed to completely separate. Because especially when you have a limit, and yes, granted it's been increased to 41, but if you have a limit, you're going to have potentially more than one lead scoring model. Yeah,
right.
So that's what I hope, is that it rounds it out and finishes it off. But this has been a bit of a problem child, I think, for Microsoft.
And also, like, because we don't have the web tracking, you're losing, like, half of it's missing. You can't do page visits, 100%. You can't do clicks. So I feel like it wasn't really ready to be fully useful anyway. So I guess that's a good excuse for why it dragged its tail a bit. But
it also says score leads and qualify based on their subscriptions and interests. My assumption, even though they've worded it strangely, is that that's purposes and topics.
Yes, that is a mixed mash of words.
Yeah, so that is good as well. So February is a very long time to wait, but the number of groups has already been increased. So
yeah, I reckon this is one of those things where they'll do this in bits and it'll all just be there, like boom there, and then it'll be done by February, kind of thing.
Especially seeing as it's going straight to GA, then it'll probably just be like,
well, because the whole feature's in GA, right? So they can't really go like, oh, like this little switch here is preview. It's just like, you have to fix it.
But I saw the increase the number of groups, so I emailed one of the guys at Microsoft that I know works on this, and he said, oh, that's already been increased and it's live. So I'll check that immediately. So that is very good news.
Nice.
Okay, so that's it for all of the stuff from Wave 2. But I just thought it might be interesting just to say,
it's a murder mystery case.
Yeah, where are they? So
who killed the insides with the toothbrush in the bathroom?
What game of Cluedo are you playing?
A special one.
So maybe that's the Australian version.
The dental care one.
Yeah. So these 6. So as we're planning for this and for this video, going through and looking at what was in wave 1 and has been released, what was in wave 1 and has now been moved to wave 2, but then these 6 are nowhere to be found. So not entirely sure what's going to happen with them. For me, the 2 that I think are, I hope that we see, because I think it would be a real shame not to have them, is the A/B testing within an email and the send scheduling feature. The rest of them, I'm not saying they're not valuable, but they don't.
I was excited for the customer flow analysis, so better analysis on the journey canvas to see, like, you know, when people exit, there's no visibility of it. So I remember seeing the screenshots and it was like branching to show like, oh, these people exited at this stage because of this trigger. Like that for me is quite exciting. And it's something that we can't really patch over and build ourselves as well, because you can't, like, it's that inflow stuff.
And was there a screenshot on that one?
Yeah, I remember seeing like lots of bars are poking out and one going exit, and it looked really exciting. I like numbers.
Because usually when there's a screenshot, it's like,
I know,
oh, it's coming. But so I can't find them. So they might be that they've. Typically, they would, like, if it had gone live, they wouldn't have removed the links, but the links are completely gone for these now. So, and like I said, they're not in wave 2. So I don't know. So hopefully they don't die off completely. And we've seen this before, right? Where we have wave 1 release notes, and then all of a sudden you're like, hang on a second, that link wasn't there when it was first released. So I'm hoping that either somebody's just missed out a link and it will be added in, or it will be added in due course and we'll still get to see it in wave 2.
Just missed a link 6 times. They're getting some really bad interns at Microsoft these days. Yikes.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad oversight, wouldn't it? But anyway, we shall see. So overall, we've got quite a few new things. We've got about 5 or 6 regurgitated, recycled things, and we just have to wait.
Reincarnated, regurgitated sounds gross.
It does, doesn't it? Reincarnated, reused. Let's just call it what it is. Reused, repurposed, all the re's.
I can't think of it. It's not sitting right. You have to work on that.
Sorry, I won't say that again. All right. Well, as always, thank you very much, Ms. Holden. It's been a pleasure.
Never at all.
And we'll do this again in 6 months.
Yes, we shall. Bye.
Bye.